This show is brought to you by Millennium Tree Stands, Extreme Archery Products, and Ramcat Broadheads.
Welcome to Reality Hunt Club. In this webisode, we're talking about opening bow weekend. Seems I had a few miscues, so stay tuned and see what happened to me. So you heard in my introduction I talked about some miscues. Now I've been bow hunting about 5 years, so keep this in mind. So anyway, we got up and went that Saturday morning. We had a tent, and the deer had been coming in there every morning. Sure enough, they came in, but they came in for some reason the other way than we thought they would. So sure enough, they blew at us, and the hunt was over. We went that afternoon, and we had a great spot on the power line, and look up, and here comes a big storm come floating in. I mean, these clouds were demon gray looking color. Actually, when we started packing up the gear, I'd look down and I'd see I saw 3 does coming my way 2 hours before dark. So I'm sure they were heading that way. So I look at the does, I look at the clouds, look at the does, look at the clouds, and that storm was so bad I wasn't going to get the electronics wet, nor did I want to get wet. So we snuck down and got out the back of the blind. Actually, the tree stand went through the woods. I don't think the does saw us. The next morning it was cool. And believe it or not, nobody didn't see anything, including myself. But I went back that afternoon to the same spot. It's on the mini power line. My dad loves that spot. He's killed a couple of does there. So I thought I'd go back there and try out the new equipment and try to shoot my own doe. So as we were sitting there, we had a doe and a fawn coming in. So let's look at that full screen right now. So they're coming in to some pears and corn that we put out for them. We haven't planted his food plot yet. It's a fawn and a yearling doe. Now I want you guys to watch this shot that we're going to do in a minute and tell me what your first gut feeling is about the shot. I want you to go, if you're watching it through Facebook, leave a comment. If you're watching YouTube, leave a comment and tell me what your first gut instinct about the shot, whether you thought it was lethal or not. So let's watch this. So as we're watching that, they fed through for a while. We had a doe and we had a doe behind us actually blowing, so they were kind of a little uneasy. Probably the mature doe. I like to shoot the young does, as you guys know that, because they eat better, and the older members like to shoot the big does. So let's watch this. So they came in for about 10 minutes, and the doe behind me blew for about 5 of those 10 minutes. And eventually she moved off. So anyway, we're sitting there and they're starting to eat, and the fawn feeds off, but the yearling doe's still there. And so I decide I want to shoot her. So So she really never gives me a good broadside, so I'm sitting there. So as you can see, she's starting to give me a broadside shot here, okay? Which I'm thinking it's broadside, but if you're looking, it's quartering to me a little bit, which I didn't think it was going to make a big problem. But as you know, I've only shot 3 other deer with a bow, so I wasn't paying close enough attention. So right there, I thought that was a good shot, and you can see the camera shaking. You can see me pulling back my bow, and I'm thinking that's a good broadside shot. All right, she can hear me pulling back the doe. She kind of picks up her ears. And there's the shot. Alright. Looks good. Sounded good, didn't it? So here's the slow-mo of the shot. You can see my broadhead. And she does dip down, but my shot was a little low to begin with. Okay? So there you can see the arrow actually going into the doe. Now when you zoom in, now what do you guys think before I zoomed in? Now honestly tell me what you guys thought. But once you zoom in to the shot, you can tell that she is, you can tell in there she's quartering to me a little bit more than I thought. And you can tell my shot was low and a little bit behind. But I've shot them with rifles there, and it's killed them. I've killed hundreds of deer with a gun. But now that I'm bow hunting, you've got to think about where the arrow's going out. That is not where I should have shot the deer. Now let's look at this. Let's look at this anatomy shot right here. As you can see, I tried to match it up with the anatomy shot of where I hit, and you can see I'm kind of in the never land between the gut cavity and the vitals, the heart and the liver, even the lungs. So I think, as you can tell, I'm also shooting from 15 feet up and above. And as you can see, this turned out to be a non-lethal shot. I should have shot her if I was a shooter in that position again. Look at this photo right here. I should have shot her up here and got through that shoulder and get it, or wait till she turned broadside. It's just, I've been doing it for 5 years. I guess you could still say it's not really a rookie mistake, but more of inexperience. One thing I've got to do is when you shoot a deer with a bow, you've got to pay attention to where the deer is quartering to you, broadside or quartering away, and you also got to think about where that arrow is going to go through on the other side. You got to visualize that. So if I'd have shot her here, I think I would have found this deer. But anyway, we looked for the deer for 2 hours. We had blood in really one good spot, and then she stopped bleeding. We called one of my buddies. He brought his dog, and we got him to search for the deer with the dog just to make sure. And they actually came up on the deer, and she was bedded down. She got up and ran off, and the dog couldn't catch her, so she was healthy enough not to be bothered. And the guy said he looked in the bed, and there was like 1 or 2 drops of blood. So apparently, I didn't hit anything lethal to kill the deer. So we're going to keep monitoring the trail cameras, and we're going to see if this deer comes back and we get another photo of her, or if that actually was a mortality shot. We'll see. Now on this next hunt, we slept in, so this is actually that next evening, and I had a doe come in. Now I put the camera arm up, and I always don't tighten it to make sure that I get it straight, and then I tighten it. Well, guess what? I forgot to tighten it. So when I swung my arm over, the arm dipped down into my lap with the camera and about dropped it. And so I couldn't do anything with it as she was feeding by. And that's why we've got such a bad slant on the on the camera. You can see the GoPro above me. You can see that the camera is all diagonally in my lap. So here she comes. She's perfectly 30 yards. She's heading to the peanut field. All I had to do was probably just grunt stop her. And right there was my shot. That's 30 yards. I could have shot her right there. But the camera is failing. The camera had slid down because I forgot to tighten it up. Once again, a miscue. Look at this GoPro shot down at the bottom. You can see that I've got it on the ground and she walks by. That was some pretty cool stuff. So anyway, I decided not to push the issue and try to tighten it. Just let her ease by. Maybe I can get her again on this spot. It's basically a dried up pond, and it pinches her between the water and the pond. So as you can see, seeing deer, but my luck's kind of not good. The shot was on me. This is also on me. Nothing to do with our fine sponsors. The Extreme Archery site was great. That's, I hit that deer right where I shot. The broadhead went right through. It's just bad placement on my part. And of course, I was sitting in a Millennium tree stand all weekend, and the deer never saw me. I could sit still in them things forever. So like us on Facebook. Of course, you can watch all our videos on hunt365.tv. Leave us some comments. Come on, guys. Give us some feedbacks. Tell me what you thought of that shot the first time you saw it. And I just got to get better at my placement shots. So anyway, thanks for watching Reality Hunt Club, and stay tuned, and we'll be bringing you more webisodes as the deer season cranks up.
If you like this show, check out our other shows at hunt365.tv.